Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Virtual Realms video. We're back to the very last unit in the showcase here, and it's probably the most unique one, Vlad Draculea. He is a tactician first of all, 19 cost, and unlike all the other units, he's actually in the Cultist faction. So very weird why they will release a Cultist out of nowhere, but so far from what I can see, he isn't gonna be that big of an impact unless they change things drastically about him. So stats wise, he is at a lower base attack than usual. 24.6k HP, that's a bit higher than average. 3.2k attack is not a lot. And an attack interval that's at 2.4 seconds, so slightly below average. And yeah, that's basically it. Then his skills, Talin, this is where I don't like the first 5 words that we see. Damage, skills off of HP. Up to today, we have no idea how these mechanics work, how well they actually scale. I think Malvira can actually do some decent damage. She scales off HP as well. We're not sure if this guy can do it, so I think that's the big question mark that we have right now. And then the second bit here, continuously inflicts War Frenzy on blocked enemies. It reduces the enemy's basic attack interval by 25% and it cannot be dispelled. So as long as it's blocking enemies, he's gonna be, inflicting this War Frenzy on them. And when attacking enemies inflicted with War Frenzy, Impaling Charge and Brutal Suppression ignores 30% of the target's defense. So clearly they want him to do some form of damage here, but with that low of a base attack, I'm not sure if he can actually do anything there. And then basic attack, physical damage, 120% AoE damage up to 5 enemy targets 1 time. So this is pretty unique because I don't think there's any Cultist units that actually do physical damage, at least from the legendaries. You have Uridin, you have Cerberus, you have Azeroth, all of them do magic damage. I think this is the first one that we're getting physical attack. It's going to be pretty interesting where we're going to use him. And then first passive, when taking direct damage, 25% chance that the next basic attack will be a counter attack, which does 130% damage 2 times up to 7 adjacent enemy targets. When he does this, he's going to get 6% rage back. So quite a bit of RNG involved here. Having those triggers happen and getting the rage back, which will affect his ultimate uptime as well. But very nice. A lot of damage in his kit. It's just the base stats that I'm very wary of right now. Second passive, when blocking an enemy, increases HP by 3% for 15 seconds, stacking up to 5 times, which means that you get 15% extra HP. And when taking direct damage from an enemy inflicted with War Frenzy, it restores HP by 3%. Whether this is enough to sustain him, my guess is no, because there's really no areas in the game where, a unit is gonna do a hit that only does 3% damage. So that's the concern there, whether he can actually sustain himself with just this passive. My guess is no, but we'll have to actually do testing to see if my guess is correct. And then bond skill here, obtain Lady Mina to unlock the following bonus effect. Ultimate pulls up to 5 enemies to its path to the destination during its charge. So that's very interesting. And when ultimate is cast in place, inflicts stun on the target for 1 second when dealing AoE damage. So I'm not sure if the pull works if he doesn't move to another location. That's one thing to check. And it sounds really good here with the stun there because it's basically going to mean that he can control whoever is pulling towards him for the duration of the ultimate. So that's nice. And now we move on to the ultimate, Impaling Charge. So this is one of the ones that do the 30% defense ignore plus this counter attack that we saw earlier. So you can choose and charge up to an unoccupied ground tile within 3 tiles. That's a very big area to choose from. Dealing 500% AoE damage up to 7 enemies in the path. So I think anywhere that he's moving to, he's going to do that 500% AoE damage. Then if cast in place, it's going to deal 360% AoE damage instead, but up to 10 targets within 2 tiles. So one is in path, one is in 2 tiles, and when after casting, increases his block by 2 for 15 seconds and deals up to 30% increased damage and 30% reduced damage based on the number of enemies. So that maxes out at 5 units, and bear in mind with these 2 blocks here, and he is also one of the units, one of the fighters that actually has 3 blocks by default. He's basically going to be able to max out this benefit that we're looking at here. And the reach wise is pretty low, that's at 600, so coupled with this brutal suppression, I think he could potentially have a very good ultimate uptime. The question here is how does the damage scale of HP and whether we're expecting him to actually do any damage, because he doesn't look like he's going to be able to tank really well. Alright, artifact Vlad's Impaler increases max HP by 25%, and when entering combat, block gets increases by 1. So it means that by default, this is probably one of the units with 4 blocks. And with the ultimate, it's going to go up to 6 blocks. And after a counter attack is triggered, applies War Frenzy to the caster for 2 seconds. So I believe that's going to be himself. So instead of just giving War Frenzy to the enemy, he's finally going to be doing something to himself as well. It is a very promising artifact. I like the extra block. I like that War Frenzy can be inflicted on himself now, but the duration is a bit short at 2 seconds. And I'm also not sure how impactful the max HP is pretty impactful because he scales his damage of HP. The question is how can we test him in such a way that, we can actually maximize the damage that we see there. Alright, Awakenings here. A1 reduces basic attack interval by 5% for each enemy within 2 tiles, inflicted with War Frenzy up to a 25% decrease. So I think this makes up for the fact that he doesn't get War Frenzy on his own unless he does that counter attack with his exclusive artifact. A2 is extra HP. And then A3, each trigger of Brutal Suppression increases the damage of the next one by 10% if it's triggered within 5 seconds. Very similar to what we saw on Van Helsing. And then this effect stacks up to 30%. A4 is Penetration. And A5 restores 2% HP to the hero for every one enemy target attacked by Brutal Suppression. Pretty lackluster A5. I would say that A3 is probably the best one in terms of damage output, and then A1 as well with the attack interval reduction. But the question here is really how well does he scale with the HP thingy? Because our experience with all these HP defense scaling units has been that it's terrible implementation wise. So let's hope it's not the case for him. We'll also need to think of where areas we can use him. His range is not spectacular, so I don't think he's going to be meta in Arena. We could try to see how well he works there, but I don't have high hopes for that. So yeah, that's Vlad Draculea and his kit. Now we're going to do some testings and see how he fares. So before we get into the content that we want to try out Vlad in, just want to see how the scaled damage works by HP. So to actually get to a decent build, what we've done here is that we've given him an Unshaken Wheel set because it's incredibly difficult to get proper sets, or rather unconventional sets on test server. Just give you a random bunch of gear, and I don't have any HP bonus Snowball Arcana. If I had, that's what I would ideally want to use. But yeah, this is the next best alternative. So we have 3 of the same Unshaken Whales with the same sort of stats. And on the left side, we have HP, we have crit rate. The only problem here is that we don't have crit damage here. We have attack and state, which is not ideal. But I don't have any other gear that's close to this. We also have this over here. You can see it's a quad equivalent. Crit damage, attack speed. We don't really need crit rate here, so yeah, that's fine. And there's really nothing much that I would expect to be different compared between Vlad or Malvera. So let's just see the kind of damage that they'll be doing here per hit. I know it's Guild Boss 1, not the best place to do it, but I just want to see in terms of scaling. They look the same. They're doing about 100k per hit. Over here, I can't see the War Frenzy thing. It seems like the guild boss doesn't get affected. Either that or, it just doesn't show up with an icon or anything. And after all, guild boss has a fixed attack interval, so... Alright, 100k per hit. Now what we'll do is we'll swap the exact same set. I do have to say Malvera is doing magic attack, so there could be some difference there. So let's see what we get here. I don't have the exact same set on both of them, so yeah, obviously do the same. 96k. Let's wait for some hits here because we have her on the artifact that gives her 107. So fairly equivalent in terms of damage. So I don't think their scaling works differently in terms of like percentage. Seems very clear that this is the way to build him if you want to go full damage build. And yeah. So we just swap him right back. And we are good there. I do think that Vlad is pretty unique because it's the only physical attack fighter that we have. Even Malvera is on magic damage. And also there is a lot more DPS in his kit if you compare it to Malvera. Almost every part of his kit is to deal with damage, except for this very last one. Whereas Malvera has unyielding and all that, but both of them do have extra block. Both of them have extra block together. So yeah, that's that. Let's get into the other tests. Alright, so the first place that we'll be testing out Vlad in is going to be Gear Dungeon 2, Stage 10. And I'm going to be trying him on the top side because given his high HP and the fact that his damage scales off HP, I think he can be a pretty decent option up there. Only problem is the fact that he is in the Cultist faction. Normally you use Cultist for magic damage, but he is one of the only units that does physical damage. So I'm not sure what the intention was there, whether he's going to be specific for like Cultist faction trials, but definitely feel like, he's in a pretty odd place. So to actually highlight him here, we have to stick out Morrigan in, and Vlad's going to be the only unit that he boosts. So yeah. Talin. See what we can do here. So first unit down, Volca. I'm going to do this.
Don't touch me. My prayers will guide you. Allow me to shed some light.
Get a knockback from Edith. And now the top lane first clone is going to come in soon, so we're going to drop down Vlad here.
My prayers will guide you. Don't touch me.
Finish in a bit here. Let's let him do more damage first. Oops. A bit late on the Numera there. Let's redo that. Just slow down the timer. Okay, once we have this clone killed, or this Tormented Banshee, just do that. Put Vlad down. Now we just wait. That hit, that's when I'm gonna proc the ultimate. Hopefully he survives. I'm just waiting for him to kill off the clone now. We have that. Gacha.
My prayers will guide you.
Oh, very close call there. And the first Numera spawns are always the toughest, the first clone. Should I have any Grimtom spikes there? Now that she has it, the later waves are just gonna be a lot easier. Now we just wait for the clone to come in. Once it comes into Finn's ultimate range, which is the last square here, gonna pop the ultimate so that we can kill that off quickly.
Step aside. My blade does not discriminate.
They'd better put up a good fight.
There we go.
Crescent moon, heal them.
Just proccing the Numera ultimate for the damage reduction here. And once this guy's come in, we're gonna do the Vlad ultimate as well. And that's cute, and you can see the Nurture procs bouncing to kill off one of the mobs here as well. We just wait. Second bits here.
My prayers will guide you. Don't touch me.
Once Vlad comes into range, the ultimate here.
They won't know what.
Let us make our stand.
I was sent
So-
here to patch your wounds.
Doing quite a bit of work here.
My prayers will guide you.
Waiting for his second ultimate. And that's gonna kill off the clone. I think that's the good thing about Vlad. He excels very well here because the more spawns there are, the more damage he actually does. With his Brutal Suppression proccing more often.
My prayers will guide you.
We wait for this clone to die before we do the Ibis pushback. Yep. Another magic clone coming in.
Step aside. My blade does not discriminate.
Waiting for the clone to die. Once that's dead, you can actually go ahead to all this ultimate. Hopefully this survives.
Will guide you.
There we go. Now we're just down to the last wave. Nothing crazy here. Just gonna pop the ultimate, and that's gonna end it. So he excels really well here for the fact that Brutal Suppression procs a lot when he blocks like 6 units at one go, and the procs with the War Frenzy just make it happen much more often. I did have some test runs where he actually wasn't able to kill the clone fast enough, but most of the remaining bits he actually fed pretty well. You can see 42 million damage. Obviously he's not going to get this kinds of damage everywhere. We are going to test him out in Arena as well, which is where I think he might struggle, but in Gear Dungeon 2 he is a pretty decent option to have here. So yeah, and the gear that we were using here is same as what we saw in the test where we were checking out his damage. So yeah, let's move on to the arena bits. So next thing we're gonna test out here is gonna be Vlad in arena. We just want to see whether he has any potential here, even though I don't think he does. There is someone in the previous videos that said that, you know, maybe you can put him in with high HP, see if you can do any damage, but he doesn't do much because arena scales so much, and considering the fact that the Counters team isn't even that great now anyways, he doesn't really offer much to the mix. So this is the team we're running. Instead of running a cost gen, we're going to run Vlad instead. The good thing about Vlad is that he can move even after you deploy him in an awkward position previously, but the problem is that, you know, he doesn't bring any other cost gen after that, so he just sits there. It's a very short range, so yeah, let's get him without further ado though and see what he can do. cost at 19 is very high. I think that's the problem with this unit. Very niche, cultist faction. You can't pair him with anything else, but otherwise the kit sounds amazing. You have the tactician bit of being able to move around, and then you also have the extra block and the War Frenzy unique mechanic that procs his brutal suppression. Problem is just that beyond that, you don't really get much other times that you can use him because he's a cultist. You don't want to use him without a lot.
Slay them, darling.
Now wait for these guys to come in. Ori's team is definitely going to clear a bit faster than ours here. And see the pool there, but it's pull towards that location. It's not like a pull generally to him. So if he can't move to that slot, he can't do the pull, which is what's going on here. And here you can see the natural 4 block coming in handy. And now we're just waiting for Azeroth to come in. Oops. Lower once again. And now we just wait. And wait for these guys to come in. Yep. Azeroth gonna pick that part easily. Now we put in Earless with the heals.
My prayers will guide you.
Watch me eat you alive.
Fly, my pretties.
I'm still playing with my prey.
Arise, my hero. Humor me.
Oh, one of his units died.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows. Where I have passed, the grass no
Azeroth's slam unfortunately didn't reach the last guy in time. A bit of HP damage there again. I think these summons are gonna expire soon though, so I'm gonna get some of this back.
Go on then. Humor me.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Oh, don't worry. I only want
Go.
souls.
Watch me eat you alive.
Fly, my pretties. Go on then. Humor me.
Watch me eat you alive.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Is it a good team? I don't think so, because you can see from the showcase here, he does do the damage. He does clear out the first waves, but other than that, he doesn't bring any other utility. He's not low cost enough to take advantage over Villara, for example. He is able to move, but it is very limited in terms of areas, especially when you consider AoE Arena. And damage-wise, he is definitely not going to be super, like, you know, effective as well. Most of the damage from this team is still being dealt by Azeroth and as well as Verlis. I mean, if you swap a Kane here, you could probably get similar results, and yeah, it's just not the place for him, and I just wanted to showcase that so that we can get that out of the way. And we do have pretty decent gear on Vlad here. It's the same set of gear that you've been seeing. It's the Unshaken Will with crit as well as some crit damage. And we do have Awakenings on him that we can talk about in the conclusion of this video, but I think for all this testing, we just want to see him at A0, because this guy could very well be a fusion unit, judging from what he is at the moment, with his weird kit and everything. It just seems like it's going to be one of those free units that we'll get. So yeah, let's move on to the next bit. Alright, the next set of places that we're going to try out Vlad in is going to be the Malrik Trials. I do think he's also going to shine here for the same reasons that he shines in Gear Dungeon. It is going to be another alternative, especially for people who don't have Talin yet. I think both of them bear a lot of similarities, but Vlad, I think, does a bit more damage, a bit more controlled, and also he has very high block and he just survives very well naturally. So we're going to try out this team and see how... Sorry, this Keystone. We're going to see how this team fares. Nothing too crazy. Let's get in without further ado. So we're gonna do where was that? I think it's gonna be Azeroth at the bottom here. And Verlis. See him consuming the units already. And now what we're gonna do is put Verlis here. Well, I want to see if Vlad can actually solo the top waves here.
Go on then, humor me.
Put Vlad right here. It's gonna be able to self-sustain probably. There we go. Once this guy's come close, pop the ultimate, and there we go. Don't think the self-sustain is as good as I thought it would be.
My prayers will guide you.
I'm still playing with my prey.
Where I have passed, the grass no
He
longer
actually doesn't self-sustain enough. I think we talked about this in his kit, with the fact that he doesn't heal as much as what he could. He couldn't out heal what the enemy is doing in terms of damage, and I think we see that happening right there. So could have put the Dralian down, I guess. There is also the problem that that is a random area fan taker. But we can shift him around, so maybe we'll do that. See how that works out for us. I mean, he's definitely not going to be clearing the Inquisitors up top. He's going to delay them at best. Alright, we'll do Azeroth here. Verlis down here.
To add to my collection.
I'm still playing with my prey. I'm still playing with my prey.
My prayers will guide you.
Yeah, we can actually play with him in a lot of different positions here. So let's place him down here first.
more expensive than war.
My prayers will guide you.
Put the new arrow here.
Nature's fury be unleashed.
Where I have passed,
Yeah, it doesn't do enough regen, I think.
grows.
Even on this lower tier mobs, he is struggling to keep up with the heals.
Let them fall.
Got Sand Take on the side this time. That's good.
My prayers will guide you. Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule? Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule?
Yeah, this guy's coming in again. And Vlad is just gonna solo those at the top.
The grass
He does need a healer, unfortunately. Need him to self-sustain like Talin, but yeah, clearly he's unable to do that.
Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule?
Verlis ultimate here.
clear.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows. Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Let us make our stand. Feel the wrath of the Grimthorn! My shield
Yeah.
must not fall.
I think the Sand Takers are a bit hard to manage there. But let's say we're to put Nurture in there, then I think it's fine. It's gonna be a decent team. Because he just straight up gets tanky enough, he gets that extra block. But to solo it, he's not gonna do it similar to Talin, but at least, you know, he's able to just okay, we have the reduced block here as well. I was wondering for a period of time why units are passing through so easily, especially with all the blocks that we have there. So let's do the same deployment.
Let me be your shield. More songs to add to my collection. My prayers will guide you.
Peace is more expensive than war.
If they stand against us, then let them fall.
I'm still playing with my prey.
Nature's fury be unleashed! Go on then, humor me. Go on then, humor me.
Stage clear.
My prayers will guide you. Go on then, humor me.
We'll just do Nurture here, and that's gonna finish
Let's make
the
it
team.
legendary.
We could also move him to face up to help deal with the Sand Takers if they do spawn up top eventually.
Humor me.
Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule?
Ultimate.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Stage clear.
Yeah, Sand Takers are coming up top.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
I'm still playing with my prey.
My prayers will guide you.
And now let's get extra block in.
Grass no longer grows.
Now it looks a lot better. I mean,
My prayers.
if we're treating him like Talin, then he's gonna be the exact same deal where he's not always gonna be doing the best damage. At the very least, if he's a free unit, we're all gonna get this guy that can actually do some decent damage. Go. And take us up in.
Humor me.
I'm still playing with my prey.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
My prayers will guide you. Go on then. Humor me.
And now we'll do the Reaver out in.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Go on then. Humor me.
Let us make our stand. Go on then. Humor me. My prayers will guide you. Go on then. Humor me. Let us make our stand.
In. It's pretty much rinse and repeat at this point. Vlad has very low rage, so he pretty much get his ultimate back up every time to get an extra block back.
With my prey. Rise!
Let us make our stand.
Where I have passed, the grass no longer grows.
Go on then. Humor me.
More souls for the netherworld.
Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule? My prayers will guide you. Shall I remind them why dragons used to rule?
Might have proc the nurture ultimate here. So missed time with his ultimate. The good thing here is that the Scotch Devourer spawn at the bottom, but I don't think we'll be able to kill him. We just straight up don't have enough force damage here.
My prayers will guide you.
Go on then. Humor me.
My prayers will guide you.
Stage clear.
Yeah. Maybe that's gonna kill off everything, but I think you guys get the point. He is a pretty decent unit to replace Talin if let's say you just don't have any better, or rather if you don't have Talin, then this is gonna be your next best option. And the fact that you can shift him around does come in handy sometimes, especially if you want to deal with the top waves and whatnot. But other than that, he's not gonna be spectacular in terms of the damage. But I do still feel like this is probably the type of place that you will find him useful in. In the new Malrik trials, not so much, because I think you have four ground tiles, and I think all four need to be defender or tank or some sort that can actually have some unyielding in the later stages. So I don't know. We don't have this on global yet, so it's a bit hard to tell as well. But I think for the old Malriks, Vlad can definitely come in very handy there. Alright, so that's the video for Vlad. It's a pretty extensive one because we wanted to really stress where he can be useful. This is not the best set. We could have a bit more crit damage, but is that going to change the way that we've been seeing him in the other bits of content? Not so much. I think in Gear Dungeon, he's still going to shine just as fine. In Arena, I don't think he's going to be good at all there because his cost is just way too high, and Cultist team in general is just not poised for Arena due to how high cost they all are. And the other big thing is that we all speculate that Vlad is probably going to be the fusion unit. So the next big question is, do we even want to bother looking at his awakenings? Because he has some decent ones. A1 is straight up just going to give that 25% reduction in basic interval as long as he's blocking 5 enemies, which he often does in the scenarios that we've been seeing, and more decreased attack interval just means, you know, more damage for him. And then A2 is extra HP, makes sense because this guy scales off by HP. A3, this one is similar to Van Helsing, it's just gonna give, you know, 30% more damage to brutal suppression. A4 is penetration, and then A5 is HP restoration. And I think this is the one that we mentioned that, you know, he doesn't really self-sustain from that. As much as, you know, we think he would. So he is a niche unit. I do think that he could be buffed ever so slightly. If they could do something similar to what they do with Talin, which is that, not that you can place Talin on both ground tile, but I think giving him some boost when you actually, he uses his ultimate and whatnot, or after he shifts location, I think that would be nice. Because right now, he just seems to lack a bit of, you know, damage. utility-wise, I mean, the big portion of this that is that he can move and do stuns, but I do find that he's a bit lacking. They should maybe add just one more bonus for him to make him better. And I think whether or not we can get awakenings on him will be a huge factor as to whether he'll be good or not. Because if we're gonna be stuck at him at A0 until sometime later, then what's the point even of having awakenings on this guy then? So yeah, that's Vlad. I think he's one of the more fun units of all the other rest, because he is a tactician. You can move him around, but the problem is, where do you actually need a unit like him? In like places like Gear Dungeon, you probably have already completed, so he's not gonna do that much there. In Malrik's, I think he is gonna be a contender there. If you don't have Talin, he's gonna be very useful. But the big difference is that Talin can actually self-sustain. Vlad cannot do that. He needs a healer based on the testing that we've done. So yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below. Try my best to answer them, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.